right, so here's our lesson on combining like terms. You should have your guided notes either printed out or on your Chromebook in Kami. We're going to go ahead and define some terms. If you're using Kami, this will be good. You can use some color. So, coefficient. I am going to underline my coefficients in blue. The coefficient is the number with the variable, the multiplier, the number that tells you how many x's you have for each term. That's your coefficient. Variable, I am going to underline in green, and the variable is the unknown value. Also, you know, the letter in the math that makes you think that you're in English class. Okay, a constant, I'm going to do with red. Constants are just numbers. Numbers by themselves, no variable. And a term, I'm going to have to go with, well, I'm going with blue again, but I'll box them. A term are the things that are being added or subtracted in an expression or equation. So term, those are boxed, and the things being added or subtracted in an expression or an equation. Okay, you have two types of terms. I'm going to write this up here. Two types of terms. Or actually more than that, but for 8th grade, we're going to have two types of terms. One is a variable term, and one is a constant term. We've talked about this already, but this should be review. And I'm going to underline my variable terms with squiggly lines and my constant terms with straight lines. So this has 5x has a variable in it, so it is a variable term. 3x has a variable in it, it is a variable term. -7 does not have a variable, it is a constant term. +9 does not have a variable, it is a constant term. Okay, so how do we combine like terms? The first step I'd like to suggest is to separate the terms into boxes. So for this one right here, I'm going to put a box around the whole thing, and I'm going to draw a line in front of every plus and minus. That's how I box up my expressions or equations. Draw a line in front of every plus or minus. And now I have my terms all separated. I have 4 of them here. Identify the type. Oops. Identify the type of each term. So I'm going to use my underlines. 5x, does that have a variable or no? It does, so that makes it a variable term. 3x has a variable. It's a variable term. -7, no variable. It is a constant term. And +9, no variable, constant term. The next thing we need to do then is combine the like terms by adding or subtracting, as the case may be. So, if I'm going to combine 5x and 3x, if I have 5 x's and then 3 more x's, that gives me 8 x's. And then over here, with my constant terms, I have -7 plus 9. I can switch those around and go like this, 9 minus 7, which in my head makes it easier. That gives me +2. And that is the new simplified expression right there. That's how you combine like terms. Okay, so what we want to do now is practice some. Do some together to practice them. And I wrote your boxes for you. So here we go. Let's do some of these together. Actually, hold on. Okay, so I had seen a situation that I needed to fix. You didn't even know I was gone, did you? All right, so first thing we're going to do is write each term in a box. I got a 1. I got a negative 3a. Remember, those lines need to divide right in front of the plus or the minus. Plus 1 plus 7a. Now I need to identify the types of terms. So 1, is that a variable term or a constant term? It does not have a letter, so it's a constant. Negative 3a, that's a variable term. Plus 1, constant. Plus 7a, variable. And then I combine the like terms. So let's see, I'll do our answer in green. I got 7a minus 3a. 7 minus 3 is 4. So 4a. And then I have 1 plus 1. That's 2. And there's my simplified expression. Okay, let's try another one. Again, I'm going to put my terms in boxes. I got 3 plus 2m plus 7. I only have 3 terms this time. So 3 is a constant term, plus 2m is a variable term, plus 7 is a constant term. And now I can combine. Looks like I only have the one variable term, 2m. So I just keep that. And then for my constants, I have 3 plus 7 gives me 10. And that's that simplified. Okay, next one. Again, I'm going to write my terms in boxes. 8p plus 7 plus 2p plus 1. And that puts them in boxes now. I got to identify my terms. I got a variable, a constant, a variable, a constant. So it looks like I have 8p plus 2 more p's. That gives me 10 of them. And I got 7 plus 1. That's 8. 10p plus 8 is my simplified version. Okay, one more. 5x, x, not plus, minus 2 plus 7x plus 1. Identify my terms. I got variable, constant, variable, constant. Combine. 5x plus 7x is 12x. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Now I want you to try some on your own. So I want you to pause the video and do those on your own, and then you can turn it back on and check them with me. Okay, here we are to check these expressions. So I got 2n minus 1 and n plus 1. Variable, variable, constant, constant. 2n plus n, should put a plus there, is 3n. And negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So that's just 3n. Sometimes they work out like that. And here I've got a p plus 8 plus 7p plus 2. Variable, a variable over here, constant, constant. P plus 7 more p's is 8. P's, remember that secret coefficient is a 1 there. And so you add your coefficients. And then I've got 8 plus 2. Oops, wrong color. Plus 10. Beautiful. Here we go. 2b plus 5 plus 2. Oh, these are equations. So I'm going to put my equals 19 out here because that's separate. I can't combine that because it's on the other side of my equation equal sign wall. Okay, so here I've got a 2b plus 5 plus 2. Looks like I can combine my two constants. That's going to give me 2b plus 7. And then I still have my equals 19. This is where I go to work doing my two-step equation business here. So I'm going to go with blue. My constant is 7. My coefficient is 2. Get rid of the constant first, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, which leaves me 2b equals 12. Then I need to deal with my coefficient by dividing by 2 on both sides, which leaves me b equals 6. I'm going to put that up in here. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 plus 2. 2 plus 5 is, or 12 plus 5 is 17 plus 2, and 17 plus 2 is 19, which does equal that 19. So I know that that is correct. Okay, so the thing about equations is we don't want our other side of our equation in the same set of boxes. So let's do this one. We've got 2m plus 4 minus 9m equals negative 31 over there, and that's where I draw my line. Okay, so I've got a variable term, a constant term, and a variable term. 2m minus 9. 2 minus 9 is not 7, it's negative 7m. And then I don't have another constant term, so I just keep that plus 4. Negative 7m plus 4. And then that equals negative 31. Now I got my constant, I got my coefficient. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. A negative minus a negative gives us more negatives. So I got negative 7m equals negative 35. Then I got to deal with my coefficient. It's multiplying right now, so I'm going to divide by negative 7 on both sides. Gives me m equals, a negative divided by a negative gives me positive. So that gives me positive 5. I'm going to check it right here. Over here I got 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 minus 9 times 5 is 45. 10 plus 4 is 14, minus 45. 14 minus 45, I do the 45 minus 14, that gives me 31, but I had more negatives because the negative was the 45, so it gives me negative 31. And that does indeed equal the negative 31 that I needed it to. So, that is the right answer. You have practice either on the back of your paper or on the next page of your, well, no, I put it in a separate file. In your practice, in the module, click on the practice. You have, I think, 10 expressions to simplify, and then you have 10 equations to simplify and then solve. And then you have a separate document where you can check your answers. Thanks for listening.